Everything changed in a matter of literally seconds. You know, when the confetti finally settles on a Super Bowl victory, the narrative you usually hear on TV is all about a dynasty, right? It's about running it back, it's about keeping the band together for just one more unforgettable ride. But for the 2025 Seattle Seahawks, the deafening celebration inside that locker room was almost immediately followed by a brutal, cold reckoning. Think about it. They had just achieved the absolute impossible, a grinding, exhausting 14-3 regular season record where players push their bodies to the absolute brink week in and week out. They clinched the #1 seed in the NFC. They secured a triumphant, emotionally draining victory over the New England Patriots to bring home the second Lombardi Trophy in franchise history. It was the peak of the mountain. But the cost of that crown? Well, it was absolutely devastating. Welcome to our Deep Dive Explainer. Today we're unpacking the unforgiving reality of the NFL's salary cap, the inherently violent nature of the sport, and exactly how the Seattle Seahawks are entering the 2026 season not with a triumphant, relaxed victory lap, but with a completely broken, bleeding backfield. Let's dive in.
We won't be defending a title. We have to redefine who we want to be. I want you to listen closely to those words from head coach Mike Macdonald. Let them truly sink in for a second. This isn't your standard run-of-the-mill coach speak. This isn't some clever motivational tactic designed just to keep his players hungry during the dog days of training camp. No, this is a grim, realistic admission of mathematical fact. The very blueprint that won them the championship just a few short months ago, it has been completely incinerated. It's gone. You see, the NFL salary cap is not just a financial rulebook. It is a parity engine. It is specifically designed to tear champions limb from limb. When you win it all, your players suddenly command top market dollar. The rest of the league descends like vultures, stripping your meticulously built roster down to the studs, poaching the very talent that brought you that glory in the first place. Macdonald knows, deep down, that the 2026 Seattle Seahawks are a completely different, totally unproven entity. They aren't defending anything. They are desperately trying to survive the fallout of their own immense success.
To truly understand the sheer magnitude of this roster bleeding, we have to contrast the massive household names walking out the door against the fragile, glaring question marks walking in. The sheer volume of elite, proven talent that has just vanished from this facility is staggering. Quarterback Geno Smith, star wideout DK Metcalf, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, defensive stalwarts Kobe Bryant and Rick Woolen. Look, these aren't just players. These were the foundational pillars of a championship culture. These were the guys you built your entire identity around. And who exactly is stepping into this massive, terrifying void? Sam Darnold? A quarterback on an ongoing redemption arc who, sure, proved himself in Minnesota but still carries the crushing weight of past inconsistencies. Cooper Kupp? A legendary veteran, absolutely, but one whose explosive numbers have declined as age and physical attrition inevitably take their heavy toll. And then, a slew of entirely unproven rookies. Guys like Bud Clark, known for raw coverage instincts but lacking professional discipline, and Julian Neal, who is facing a brutal, steep transition to pro-level speed. It's like a giant puzzle, but someone took away all the corner pieces. Seattle essentially traded certainty for hope. They traded proven champions for complete unknowns.
$14.35 million. Let that massive number hang in the air for a tense beat. In the National Football League, loyalty is a luxury that very, very few front offices can actually afford. This exact per-season price tag is the undeniable reason the Seattle Seahawks were forced to look their Super Bowl MVP right in the eye and let him walk out of the building. Kenneth Walker III was the undisputed engine of this offense. He set the tone. But when the open market dictates that a running back is worth over $14 million a year, which consumes a massive percentage of your available cap space, agonizing business decisions have to be made. Especially when you consider Seattle just had to carve out a mammoth financial commitment to extend wide receiver JSN. Paying the Super Bowl tax at the running back position was a luxury they simply couldn't mathematically justify, no matter how much it hurt. They chose long-term financial flexibility over their most dynamic, terrifying weapon. And that cold, calculated choice, it has set off a devastating chain reaction that threatens to completely derail their entire 2026 campaign.
So how exactly does a championship backfield completely evaporate into thin air? Well, it happens violently and it happens incredibly fast. Trace this devastatingly rapid timeline with me. Step 1. The horrific, physical reality of the sport rears its ugly head. During their intense, muddy playoff victory against the San Francisco 49ers, bruising running back Zach Charbonnet goes down, a torn ACL. His season, and a massive, absolutely crucial chunk of his upcoming 2026 season, ends in an instant. Step 2. The absolute peak.
Despite the devastating injury, Seattle rallies. They band together and win the Super Bowl against the Patriots. It's the ultimate emotional high. But then comes step 3, the financial exodus. Free agency opens and that $14.35 million reality hits like a ton of bricks. Kenneth Walker departs for greener, wealthier pastures. Which leads us directly to step 4, pure, unadulterated desperation inside the war room. As the clock aggressively ticked down on the 32nd and final pick of the first round, the front office realized the draft board had completely wiped out their preferred targets. So, in a panicked move, they drafted a replacement, Jadarian Price. From a devastating knee injury to a championship parade to a financial departure to a panicked draft pick, the backfield was completely, radically rewritten in the blink of an eye.
Now, to grasp the rising panic currently brewing in Seattle, you have to hyper-focus on exactly what they are missing while Zach Charbonnet painstakingly rehabs that surgically repaired knee. We're talking about granular, violent production from his 2025 regular season. 184 carries, 730 rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns. That's massive production. But let's look closer at the game beneath the game here. What do those numbers actually represent on the field? Of those 730 yards, an astonishing 410 of them came after first contact. Let me repeat that. 410 yards with a defender already hitting him. He forced 38 missed tackles. He played with a visceral, punishing downhill style that literally broke the will of opposing linebackers in the fourth quarter. He was the automatic chain mover on 3rd and short when the entire stadium knew a run was coming. Charbonnet wasn't just a backup. He and Walker were a dual-headed monster. With Charbonnet sidelined for a massive chunk of 2026, there is a gaping physical void in the trenches. A void of pure, unadulterated aggression that cannot easily be filled by just anyone.
Which brings us to the 32nd overall pick, Jadarian Price. I want you to burn this name into your memory right now, because the immense weight of an entire franchise currently rests on his unproven shoulders. Coming out of Notre Dame, Price is stepping into a pressure cooker unlike literally any other in the league right now. The college scouting report on Price, it's tantalizing for sure. He boasts a blistering 4.38 40-yard dash with explosive, game-breaking breakaway speed in the open field. But there are glaring questions about his elite pass protection. Can he step up in the A-gap, read the blitz, and stonewall a 250-pound unblocked linebacker to save Sam Darnold's life? We don't know. He isn't just a rookie trying to quietly learn a playbook in the shadows. No, he is being asked to be the immediate savior of a championship offense. He is being asked to replace the literal ghost of a Super Bowl MVP. The expectation here isn't just to contribute a few plays a game. The expectation is to keep the entire Lombardi window propped open. And as we all know, in the NFL, rookies either adapt instantly to the speed and the violence, or they are swallowed whole. There is no in-between.
The underlying tension in this offense is built on a razor-thin, incredibly dangerous imbalance. Just look at this contrast. On one side, you have the passing game. Jackson Smith-Njigba, JSN, absolutely dominated the league last year. He was the 2025 NFL receiving yardage leader. He just secured a massive, franchise-altering new deal this offseason. He is the established elite threat through the air. He is a known commodity. On the exact opposite side, you have Jadarian Price, a rookie replacing a Super Bowl MVP. If this glaring disparity is exposed, it spells complete disaster. Opposing defensive coordinators, they're ruthless. If Price cannot instantly carry the ground game, defenses will just shift into a cover 2 shell. They will drop 2 high safeties deep, completely blanket JSN with double coverage, and literally dare the rookie running back to run into 6-man light boxes. Price absolutely must establish the run immediately to force defenses to respect the box. If he fails to do that, this newly extended, high-flying offense will be completely, thoroughly grounded.
But here's where we fundamentally subvert everything you might expect about this coming season. If you think Jadarian Price is going to be handed the rock 25 times a game like a traditional workhorse solo act, you are dead wrong. Actually, the reality of Mike Macdonald's true strategy for survival is far, far grittier. It's called the committee approach. Now, you might be familiar with this term, but let's define what it means in this specific, desperate context. It's utilizing a rotation of multiple running backs, each with distinct, highly specialized skill sets, rather than relying on a single, clear-cut running back one. ESPN's Brady Henderson reported exactly this dynamic, noting that the Seahawks are projecting a fractured 40-30-30 snap count split. Price is replacing Walker's locker room presence, sure, but absolutely not his dominance of the snap count. This isn't some luxury choice drawn up on a whiteboard because they have an abundance of riches. Not at all. This is a patchwork, desperate reality. They are literally trying to build a singular, functioning running back out of spare parts.
Let's dive incredibly deep into the microscopic details of this patchwork roster, because this is fascinating. This fragile rotation right here is what stands between Sam Darnold and the opposing pass rush. First up, obviously, Jadarian Price, the first-round pick. He will be the primary early down back, tasked with establishing that explosive edge right out of the gate. But right behind him, Emmanuel Wilson, a free agent addition and a former undrafted grinder who relies on pure, instinctual peripheral vision, even if he lacks that top-end burst. He is expected to see heavy, meaningful rotation right between the tackles. Then there is George Halani, a depth piece suddenly thrust into high-stakes situational touches, primarily tasked with crucial third-down pass blocking. Look, these are profoundly unheralded names. These are guys who just a few months ago were fighting for their professional lives on the roster bubble. And suddenly, they are holding the keys to protecting a quarterback on a fragile redemption arc. Until Zach Charbonnet miraculously returns from his midseason rehab, the fate of the Seattle Seahawks rests on the shoulders of Wilson and Halani just as much as it does on Price.
So what is the exact, agonizing master plan to keep this offense afloat? It is a strict, flawless three-step survival guide. Think of the 2018 Philadelphia Eagles trying to piece together a backfield with a bruised Corey Clement and Wendell Smallwood after the Super Bowl run. It is purest survival mode. Step 1. Lean heavily on Price's fresh rookie legs. Let his youthful explosion generate early momentum before the grinding wear and tear of a grueling NFL season inevitably breaks him down. Step 2. Carefully integrate Wilson and Halani to absorb the punishing, violent car crashes between the tackles. You absolutely cannot let your prized rookie take the full blunt force trauma of NFL defensive tackles week in and week out. The committee must absorb the physical damage. Step 3. Survive. Run the clock, protect the football, survive the absolute gauntlet by any means necessary until Zach Charbonnet is finally cleared to return to the active roster. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly delicate. If any one of these intricate steps fails, the entire foundation crumbles to the ground.
But let's zoom out for a second. Here is the macro view. Here is the truly terrifying reality setting in for Seattle's coaching staff as we approach opening kickoff. This makeshift, unproven running back committee, they won't be able to hide. They cannot quietly figure things out in the background. They can't just stumble their way through the first month of the season unnoticed while they find their footing. Because when you win the Super Bowl, you paint a massive glowing target directly on your back. The entire league wants the distinct honor of dethroning the king. Every single opposing defensive coordinator has circled the Seattle matchup in thick red marker. You've got Nick Bosa and the devastating 49ers front. You've got Sean McVay dialing up complex A-gap blitz packages with the Rams. They are bringing their absolute best, most vicious game plans specifically designed to terrify a rookie backfield. And the whole world is coming to watch, to see if this makeshift committee will shatter under the immense pressure.
And when I say the whole world, I mean the whole world. Visualize the intense, blinding spotlight waiting for them. According to the official schedule mapped out heading into the 2026 season, the Seahawks are tied for the second most primetime games in the entire league. 6 primetime games, Thursday nights, Sunday nights, Monday nights, under the brightest, most unforgiving lights the sport has to offer. They are tied with the heavyweight Buffalo Bills, sitting just behind the Los Angeles Rams, who have 7. Think about Week 4, a brutal Monday Night Football clash against Josh Allen and the Bills. Last year, during their magical championship run, Seattle only had 4 primetime games. They operated somewhat under the radar, at least early on. This year, no chance. The NFL schedule makers are putting them directly in the absolute crosshairs. 6 times they will be the only game on television. 6 times the entire nation will be scrutinizing every single missed block, every dropped pass, every fumble by Jadarian Price, Emmanuel Wilson, and George Halani. There is zero margin for error here.
Unsurprisingly, the national media is already smelling the blood in the water. Christopher Knox over at Bleacher Report, he summed up the looming dread perfectly. He wrote, quote, "The turnover could end up being just as big a part of the Seahawks' 2026 story as their elite defense or Darnold's ongoing redemption arc." Read between the lines of that quote for a second. The media doesn't view the Seattle Seahawks as an untouchable juggernaut anymore. They see a bleeding roster. They see glaring, exploitable vulnerability. Imagine the psychological weight on a 21-year-old rookie and a handful of former practice squad elevations when literally every morning sports show is running segments dissecting their every failure. The narrative has completely shifted. Every single primetime snap is no longer just a football play. It is a high-stakes, highly televised test of mental and physical survival. The turnover, the missing pieces, the departed MVP. That is the central story of their entire season.
Which leaves us staring down the barrel of the 2026 season with one massive, violently unresolved question. Will this patchwork committee survive the spotlight?
Can a rookie burdened with impossible, crushing expectations, backed up by unheralded free agents, hold the line against elite pass rushes long enough for the cavalry to return? Or will the immense weight of a $14.35 million void ultimately drag the defending champions violently back down to earth? The ruthless, unrelenting reality of the NFL waits for absolutely no one. Excuses about injuries and salary cap constraints? They don't win football games. The championship blueprint is gone in a cloud of smoke. They have to redefine exactly who they are, right here, right now, with the whole world watching their every move. Make no mistake about it. This story is far, far from over.
Look, the NFL never sleeps, and neither do we. To stay on top of this unfolding, high-stakes drama and every other hard-hitting story across the league, you need to be plugged in. Your premier destination for this level of deep-dive, premium documentary content is right here at NFL Nexus. If you want to truly understand the game beneath the game, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. Like this explainer to help push this content to other hardcore football minds out there in the algorithm. And I want to hear from you down in the comments. Tell me your exact thoughts on this running back committee. Will Jadarian Price sink under the pressure or swim against the current? And for those of you who want to take your dedication to the absolute next level, please support the channel by becoming a channel member today. You get exclusive perks and you help keep these microscopic, in-depth breakdowns coming week after week. We'll see you on the gridiron, but as the lights go down in Seattle, you have to wonder, is this chaotic backfield the gritty start of a new era or the painful, nationally televised end of a dynasty?